Anker have really invested in their audio division Soundcore, and their impressive new lineup of products only proves this. Today we'll be checking out the best earbuds they have to offer, the Liberty 2 Pro, the world's first earphones to utilise the Astria Coaxial Acoustic Architecture. I'll save my full analysis for the rest of the video, but for now I can tell you that there's definitely a good reason to be excited by this technology. Soundcore have a reputation for offering great value products, but their recently overhauled Liberty series shows that they're serious about contending with the biggest names in audio tech. The Liberty 2 Pro not only cement Soundcore's position as a major player in this field, but are also one of the best true wireless earbuds available right now. We'll also be reviewing the cheaper Liberty 2, which are similar not only by name, but in design and features too. This in-depth review will cover every feature the earbuds have to offer, see how they fare against the competition, and crucially, we'll explain the differences between the standard and Pro model. Let's take a look. As always, we'll start with the design, which is one of the four major differences between the Liberty 2 and 2 Pro, certainly the most obvious one. The pebble-shaped charging cases are almost identical, except the Liberty 2 has a glossy finish, whilst the Pro model has a softer matte finish. To me, this makes sense. The Pro case does look, and certainly feel, much more premium in the hand, whilst the Liberty 2 case can feel a bit oily and is a huge fingerprint magnet. The front of the case has 3 LEDs for charging and battery status, which you can check by pressing the button towards the back. This button can also be held to set the earbuds in pairing mode or to give them a complete reset. Just next to this is a cover to protect the USB-C charging port. Now on the Pro model only, you can also charge the case wirelessly, so this is the second major difference between the two models. The lid of the case slides open to reveal the earbuds inside. It's a pretty unique design which is really satisfying to use, as the lid slides across and snaps open. The earbuds are held in by magnets, so it's satisfying to place these back too. The only thing I would say about this is that it feels counterintuitive to do so. You have to sort of rotate the earbuds after taking them out before placing them back. You'll understand what I mean if you own these yourself, but you do start to adjust to this after a while. The actual earbuds design is very reminiscent of the Sony WF-1000X, and is nearly identical between the standard and Pro models. The plastic finishes match their respective charging cases, with a matte texture on the Pro model and a glossy finish for the standard Liberty 2. There are no touch controls here, but instead a single multifunction button on each earbud. Touch controls are typically temperamental, and I especially enjoyed being able to keep my gloves on but still control the earbuds in this cold winter weather. But at the same time, the button sits almost flush with the earbud and is very small, so it's often pretty hard to locate, let alone use. I am glad to have a physical button, but I'd definitely like to see a bigger, easier to use button for future models. The earbuds use both silicone ear tips and also wingtips, and Soundcore provide a huge range of options with these to help you find the perfect fit. The ear tips are angled to provide better ergonomics, so this should help provide a more comfortable and secure fit too. The earbuds are clearly on the larger side, so you and those around you will definitely notice these in your ears. They don't feel especially heavy or bulky, but there are much lighter and less obvious options on the market. I think the outer LEDs are pretty stylish, and they provide useful pairing and battery information, but they're bright enough that I can see them flashing in dark environments when my music is paused, so if subtle is what you're going for, you're out of luck here. Thanks to the ergonomic shape and rather spongy ear tips and wingtips, these actually feel quite comfortable in my ears. The wingtips are designed so that you can push the earbuds in and then rotate them to lock them in place. Unfortunately, my ear shape didn't provide a deep enough groove in my ear to secure the wingtip completely, despite having multiple wingtips to experiment with. I found the medium size was the most comfortable, and the larger one the most secure, but since this pressed right up against my ears, I did experience some ear soreness after a couple of hours, so I generally used the mediums instead. What these earbuds do really well is create a tight seal in the ear canal, so the passive noise isolation is really good. There's no active noise cancelling here, like with Sony's M3s or the AirPods Pro, but the earbuds still block out quite a lot of background noise passively. Again, this will be dependent on your particular ear shape, but for me this meant that my music was really immersive, and I could use these in loud environments and still hear my music clearly without having to crank up the volume. Despite the tight seal in my ear canal, the wingtips didn't lock into place for guaranteed stability, so I couldn't get them to stay in my ears during vigorous exercising like running. They felt secure while sat down or walking about though, and of course since everyone's ear shape is different, you may be able to achieve a much more secure fit yourself. Incidentally, if you do want to exercise with these earbuds, then both offer water resistance, with an IPX5 rating for the Liberty 2 and IPX4 for the Liberty 2 Pro. Sweat and rainproofing is pretty much the bare minimum I'd expect from true wireless earbuds, which both of these meet, but if you want a little bit more protection, then the standard Liberty 2 are your best bet. This is the third of the 4 major differences between the models, with the final point being related to audio quality, so for the next few sections in this video, everything discussed will apply to both models. In terms of controls, the multi-function buttons let you play pause, skip tracks, and even summon your phone's voice assistant. If you use Soundcore's companion app, you can actually remap some of the controls to your liking. For example, you could instead choose to have volume control mapped to the earbuds, a feature not available with a lot of other earbuds, but this will of course take the place of one of your other controls. What I would really like to have seen here is auto pause when you remove an earbud, especially since this would have freed up the button press command for something else. As I said before, the buttons weren't the easiest to use, so I normally just used my phone to control my music instead. You can also update the firmware through the app, and check out some guides on how to use the earbuds. But the most important feature you'll want to make note of is the equalizer. There's a great range of preset equalizers to choose from, which can radically alter your music, and I like how consistent the effects are with what you'd expect. Soundcore's signature EQ is one of the best, so the earbuds sound pretty decent straight out of the box. My personal favourite though is the custom EQ, which not only gives you the ability to tailor your music exactly to your own preference, but you can save multiple custom EQs at once. This is something you really don't see often, and is a really nice addition from Soundcore. Another really interesting feature is HearID. The app will analyse your hearing through a series of frequency response tests, and based on those results, will automatically tailor a custom EQ to your hearing. This has the potential to be a really great feature, particularly for those who aren't familiar with adjusting an EQ themselves, or who simply want a hassle-free, personalised experience. Now for me personally, I didn't get any benefit from this at all. My personal HearID gave a completely unadjusted EQ and sounded identical to the stock settings. My hearing is pretty good, so I expected this result. If you remember my biodynamic headphones review a few months back, I had the same problem with their version of HearID too. For those of an older generation or with damaged hearing, I think there's great potential for you to really benefit from HearID, which could boost some of the frequencies that you have trouble hearing and really enrich your listening experience. But unfortunately with my hearing, it's hard for me to give a comprehensive review of this feature and assess how well it actually works, other than to say for me, it doesn't. I'd be really interested to hear from you guys though, so if you've used this or similar features, then please let me know down in the comment section if you found this helpful. In terms of battery life, the earbuds offer an excellent 8 hours of playback on a single charge, and 32 total hours with the charging case, which is one of the best on the market. The actual results from my testing at 50% volume exceeded this on average, but the most interesting thing to me was that the performance on iOS was much better than Android, sometimes even by a couple of hours. I also found that after one of the earbuds ran out of battery, the other earbud could often keep playing for quite a lot longer, so the overall battery performance was really impressive. There's a great fast charge feature too, offering 2 hours of playback after just 10 minutes of charging, or just 5 minutes with the Liberty 2, which might be the best fast charging we've seen so far. It takes an hour and a half to charge the earbuds fully, and 2 hours for the charging case. And don't forget that the Pro model can be wirelessly charged too, so it has that added convenience. Getting into connectivity, the earbuds of course have the latest Bluetooth 5 technology, and maintained a really stable connection to my phones. I had complete coverage throughout my house, including through multiple walls, and there aren't many earbuds or headphones I've tested that can do this. They support the SBC, AAC, and aptX codecs, and offered essentially no latency at all on Netflix or YouTube, so if you want to use these for watching videos, there's no noticeable audio delay, and I would recommend them for this. The earbuds pair to your phone with the master-slave configuration, but if you put one of the earbuds back in the charging case, you can still keep listening to your music on the other earbud. Even if you place the master earbud back in the case, the connection will just switch over to make the other one the new master and you're good to go, which is really handy. Sadly, there's no multi-device pairing here, which I know is a popular feature, but you could technically pair the left earbud to one device and the right earbud to another if you wanted. Now normally, this earbud setup works really well, but where I notice the flaw in this type of connectivity is with phone calls. Despite having microphones in both earbuds, only the master earbud's mics are active during the call. So if you take this one out of your ear and try to use the other earbud, the caller will no longer be able to hear you. The caller's audio is played through both earbuds, but for some reason, the microphones are only active in one of the earbuds at a time. if you do want to use just one earbud, then make sure you either take out the slave earbud, or that you place the earbud back in the case and close the lid. This will disconnect that earbud, and make the other one you're using the new master, which then lets you use the mics for the call.
Soundcore have clearly put a lot of work into optimizing phone calls. There's support for CVC8 noise cancelling, and the earbuds use a 4-mic setup, but I found the performance was actually pretty poor. My voice was clear enough in quiet environments, but outside near a busy street, the earbuds struggled to isolate my voice from the loud background noise. So the call quality wasn't exactly flawless as advertised, and there are much better earbuds for phone calls, particularly the longer stem designs such as AirPods. The volume level was fine, it's just the clarity that could be a lot better, and my voice was nowhere near as clear as talking directly into my phone.
So now it's time to discuss the unique selling point of the Liberty 2 Pro, and perhaps the most important feature of these earbuds, and that's the audio quality. Whilst the two earbuds share some audio traits, they offer completely different driver setups, which in the case of the Pro model, really enhances the listening experience. What makes the Liberty 2 Pro so unique is the Astria Coaxial Acoustic Architecture, which essentially means that they have a standard dynamic driver coaxially aligned with a balanced armature driver. This modern hybrid design combines the depth and bass of the dynamic driver with the defined treble and detail of the balanced armature driver to deliver natural and expansive sound. This is a world first in the wireless earbud industry, and I have to admit, the resulting audio performance is truly spectacular. First of all, the 11mm driver, which is incidentally one of the largest I've seen in true wireless earbuds, delivers seriously deep and powerful bass. But what that additional balanced armature driver allows is to complement this with an open mid-range and impeccably crisp highs. You almost expect the deep bass to overpower the other frequencies, but it's balanced perfectly with perhaps the most detailed mids and treble I've heard, offering clear vocals and excellent instrument separation. Perhaps the best part for me was the expansive soundstage, and this is really what sets these apart from the competition. The volume level at 50 to 60% was also pretty decent, so those of you who like to listen at high volumes should be happy with these too. You'll probably see the phrase recommended by 10 Grammy award-winning audio producers, either on Soundcore's website or on the earbuds box. And yes, this is marketing jargon designed to ship more units. But when earbuds actually deliver on these kinds of bold claims and live up to their hype, then I'm absolutely fine with it, and the Liberty 2 Pro certainly do. One drawback I should mention is that there is an audible hiss in the background when listening on both models, which is typically drowned out by your music, but you'll notice this when you hit pause. Whilst I personally wasn't bothered by this, it is potentially a problem for those listening at very low volumes or to audiobooks and podcasts, so it's just something to be aware of. Now the standard Liberty 2 don't have the ACAA technology, instead using a more common dynamic driver. As I said before, this is the fourth and most important difference between the two models, and the factor you should consider the most when choosing between them. The bass and low end was almost on par with the Pro model, which makes sense since the dynamic drivers are fairly similar. But you can hear exactly what the additional balanced armature driver does in the Pro model. The soundstage here just wasn't as wide, and the audio was generally less detailed and didn't have the same high clarity. This gave the Liberty 2 a more mellow sound signature overall, and the crisp highs and separation of the Pro model was missing here. I still think the Liberty 2 sound really good, and are a strong competitor in the sub $100 category. But if audio quality is really important to you, then the Pro model offers something rather special. I genuinely think these could give the likes of Sony or Sennheiser a run for their money, the two names often considered to be the best for audio quality. Certainly, if you factor in the cost to audio quality ratio, the Liberty 2 Pro are the better choice, and for most of us, the price is one of the most important factors when choosing new audio tech. Soundcore have always offered great value products, and despite stepping up their game with their audio devices, it was pleasing to see that the pricing has been kept relatively affordable. Yes, some of these competitors are offering great extra features like active noise cancelling, but for all of the Liberty series benefits, especially the lower cost, it's hard not to find these a compelling alternative. As for choosing between the Liberty 2 and 2 Pro, of course there are minor aesthetic differences, a slight difference in water resistance, and wireless charging on the Pro model. But really it's that higher audio quality that's going to be the main swaying factor for the Pros. For those who aren't too fussy about having the best audio quality, and just want a good sounding pair of true wireless earbuds, the Liberty 2 will offer better value, and are a steal at under $100. But for audiophiles and anyone looking for the best sounding option, I can tell you that the step up in sound quality alone is definitely worth the price bump. The Liberty 2 Pro at their original price are fantastic value for money, but I've seen a lot of discounted prices recently that would make these a no-brainer. I wasn't sure exactly what to expect with these earbuds, but I can't deny that I've been seriously impressed. With the Pro model in particular, I assumed the hybrid driver design was just a gimmick, and I was surprised with just how great these sounded. Don't get me wrong, there is room for improvement. I'd still like to see more convenience features like auto pause, improved buttons, multi-device pairing, and especially a transparency mode. Active noise cancelling is noticeably missing too, but if the lack of ANC kept the cost down, I guess it's not a bad sacrifice. With the new Liberty 2 earbuds, Soundcore are making a statement, that they're no longer trying to just offer the best value products, but perhaps simply the best products period. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.